Hello physical fiends, it is Jordan here with a nice bit of news and a bit of a roundup, because if you check the links down below in the description and pinned comment, you will see that Video Games Plus are getting in a bunch of limited run games releases to give you guys a second chance at picking them up if you missed them the first time around, or you just like VGP more and you like their free worldwide shipping. That really helps. Anyways, at noon, 12 o'clock EDT, which is 2 hours from this video's publication, you will see that they will have a nice selection of new releases to add to their growing library of in-stock items. In this video, I'm going to go through what they've got, what I think of it, and what the going rate is on eBay, so you can get a gauge to see if VGP have it for a decent price. Honestly, as I'm making this quite far in advance, I don't know what prices they will be charging, so keep that in mind when you click the links below. Outlaws plus Handful of Missions Remastered is going to be available on Nintendo Switch, and for me, oddly, this is going to be the biggest highlight of this shipment. Prior to Limited Run announcing this, I'd never heard of this game before, completely out of my bubble, and frankly, part of me thought they'd made it up when they announced it. How can they keep pulling these boomer shooters from like down the back of the sofa? But it was originally only a PC game, and I did not get a PC until like 2005, so don't blame me. But I instantly fell in love with it when I saw the trailer. It looks great, it's Doom but in a Western setting, hell yes. eBay currently has this going for between $60 and $80. Pinball FX Williams Pinball Anthology Volumes 1 and 2 are two separate releases, but on eBay both of them are going for between $80 to $100. I guess pinball fans are used to paying excessive prices for their hobbies. $100, isn't that like the price of one spring used in a proper pinball machine? Anyways, from Zen Studios, the kings of milking their gains, but also begrudgingly producing the best of the best that any pinball fan should be happy about. 14 tables on each volume for 28 in total, almost enough for a lifetime. Strangely, VGP are only carrying the Switch version this time around. Limited Run did make a PlayStation 5 version too, but I guess that could be in the next batch whenever that may be. Formation Z, VGP will have the Switch 2 physical in both its standard edition and deluxe edition, as well as the standard PlayStation 5 version. If you want to grab a proper Switch 2 cartridge ESRB version, then this will be a good chance to pick it up, of course, because it's also released at retail in Europe. And in Japan normally, it's probably a bit less sought after. However, prices on eBay for the Switch 2 standard are going for between $85 to $100 currently, which is kind of crazy, but I guess it is a very early limited run Switch 2 physical, so some people may be banking on that. The deluxe edition, I think only one of them has sold so far, and that was for $120, and on PlayStation 5 again, only one sold for $80. Hi-Fi Rush VGP will have the standard editions of these on Xbox and PlayStation 5, and this has been one of the most highly requested gets for them. People asking on Twitter for it all the time. Like, VGP tag me in pretty much everything they post, so I see like everyone nagging at them about various things, and this is a hotly requested title. I don't know much about it myself, I know, shame on me, but it is a very highly thought of game, a very highly stylistic 3D action game with rhythm elements. It was an Xbox exclusive for a while, since the developer was owned by Microsoft at one point, but instead of being closed down like most of them did, they were sold off to a different publisher. So now it's on PlayStation 5 and on eBay. The standard editions are, well, I want to say nicely, but not really. What I want to say is it's not outrageously priced. Okay, high 60s in dollars, but both consoles, it could be worse for such a sought after game. Heretic plus Hexen, the Upgrade Edition, which I believe is a weird way to say the Steelbook Edition. I think this is really fresh because none of these are sold on eBay. In fact, I can find only one listing for it, which is asking for $115 for the Switch version, but they will also have this on PlayStation 5 and Xbox. If the standard edition from the last shipment wasn't fancy enough for you, and you need more overpriced metal in your life, then you may want to look into this. The games themselves are fantastic. Again, it is another Doom-like boomer shooter double pack, but this time in a dark fantasy setting with more content than you can shake an analog stick at. Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus Steelbook edition. Again, if the standard edition of this wasn't good enough for you, then maybe you'll want to pick up the Steelbook edition on Nintendo Switch. And yeah, you'll remember that limited runs version of this game is on the cartridge, unlike the retail release which had a mandatory download. Like, it's not complete, okay, there are patches you can download if you want to, but they used the maximum cartridge size and squeezed as much of it as they could on the cartridge, which is quite nice of them. On eBay, the Steelbook edition is currently varying between $110 to $140. That is an expensive piece of metal. Hopefully VGP have it for much lower than that. MIKA and the Witcher's Mountain will be available on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. This one, the pricing on eBay for the Switch physical is actually reasonable, and I say that with quotation marks, is $40 to $50, and I think that's because it's a low-key title, but also because it can also be bought in Japan as well and play in English. It's not rare or anything like that. It is Kiki's delivery service, but in video game form. Interestingly, on PlayStation 5, it's more expensive on eBay, almost $80. Why? Who knows? Well, I guess they did print much fewer copies of it. Valiant Hearts Coming Home Deluxe Edition. This collector's edition is going to be on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch, and in terms of gauging prices, only one has sold so far on eBay on Switch for $160. And I honestly don't expect to see much of these in the future. Like, the standard edition barely sold any copies, never mind this collector's edition. They probably made like 10 of them or something. They will also have a few random PlayStation 5 releases. For example, Spray Paint Simulator. No prices for this on eBay in terms of sold listings, which is unsurprising, but you have some chances asking for around $60. And yeah, it's Power Wash Simulator, except you make things dirty instead of clean. DUSTWIND Resistance. The one copy I saw of this sell on eBay was for almost $70, which is much more expensive than the other game in the series. It is a real-time strategy game, squad-based missions, looks very PC focused, so I would be interested to see how it's handled on home consoles. Hopefully the controls are okay. Metro Awakening. This is as niche as they come, really. Does anyone have a PSVR 2? I've never seen or heard anyone talking about it, but this has to be one of the more high-profile games on that system. Built exclusively for VR, this is a spin-off entry in the story-based FPS franchise. I've never played any of them, but I've heard lots of good things about them. It also got decent reviews, and surprisingly, a lot of them too. Usually when you go on Steam and see a random VR game, it's got like 3 reviews, like nobody cares. This one, however, seems popular, and on PSVR 2 on eBay, this has been sold for like $80 or more. Montezuma's Revenge. If you are feeling extra retro, they will have the NES, the new NES edition of this game. Originally an old-ass Atari Computers title, it was remade with horrendous results on modern consoles not all that long ago, but maybe this NES version might be a nice middle ground between too old-ass and too plasticky new. It is an exploration platformer, quite well regarded, but definitely a bit archaic. I guess this is a bit specialized, and the eBay selling price has been, it's wildly different, like $110 one day, and then the next day, less than $60. I'd actually be surprised if VGP have this for less than $60, because that was Limited Run's original price. That is all for this shipment, but they do have one more bonus up their sleeve. VGP are bringing back 10% off select in-stock limited run game releases. I don't know which games, because I'm making this quite far ahead. I am assuming it's on all standard editions of games and from older stock, probably not this stock or the last shipment either. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I guess you'll find out soon when you click the link down below, because not only am I linking to the new shipment, I'm also linking to all their in-stock limited run releases too. They have got a good selection now. For example, Star Ocean First Departure is a must-have for JRPG fans. Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked, a great little retro collection, if my video a couple of days ago got you in the mood for it. Valkyria Chronicles, the remastered first game, and the complete edition of the fourth game, the two Tomba games. East vs. Trails in the Sky. That's pretty new as an addition. I doubt that will be discounted, but it's a reminder that it's here. Fear Effect, all the Castlevanias, the Gradius Origins collection, check them all out, and any purchase made via any of those links down below helps support me and this channel in the best way possible, and I do truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button, okay? It will be the best thing you do today, and most of all, have a good one.